What's going on, dreamers, and welcome to another episode of First Look. Today we're taking a first look at F1 World Grand Prix on the Sega Dreamcast. I had never actually realized how highly rated this game was. I just looked up the review on IGN and they gave it an 8.6 out of 10 back in the day, which is really high, especially for this type of game. I mean, not that an F1 game can't be good, but it is definitely kind of a niche game genre. But they also said it was, quote, flawless at one point in the review, which I find kind of odd, because if it was flawless, you'd think they would give it a 10 out of 10. But anyway, they gave it 8.6, which I thought was kind of surprising. I didn't realize how well received this game actually was. Well, at least from IGN, anyway. Maybe everyone else's opinion is different, but anyway, we're gonna jump into this and see how it is. I'm personally not a big F1 fan in video game form or in sports form, so I take what I say at a grain of salt. But I have played quite a bit of Monaco Grand Prix, the online version for the Dreamcast, since you can play it online. As I've said in the past, I'll play any game on the Dreamcast if you can play it online. Doesn't really matter if I'm into it or not. But anyway, let's jump into something here. We have single race championship, time attack, match race, which is unavailable because I guess that's multiplayer, system, which I guess is settings. Weird that they call it system rather than settings, but okay. And file menu, which has a nice 3D model of a VMU. Isn't that great? All right, let's go into a single race. This menu actually seems very familiar. I don't know if another game uses the same sort of menu. It kind of reminds me actually a bit of Spirit of Speed, the menu for that. But hopefully hopefully that's the only similarity this shares with Spirit of Speed. But anyway, I don't know what any of these cars are. I'm just gonna pick one at random here. I have a bunch of different drivers, which I assume are real drivers from F1. I'll go with that guy. Novice, definitely novice. I can pick the CPU difficulty as well. Let's go easy. You know what, we'll do normal, fine. I've had enough practice with Monaco Grand Prix that I can probably race decently. Acceleration, braking, okay, whatever. I guess that's assist. So here are our tracks. We have Australia, Brazil, Argentina, San Marino, Spain, Morocco, Canada, France, Britain, Austria, Germany, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Luxembourg, and Japan. I assume these are probably a lot of the same tracks that are in Monaco, including Monaco, which is actually one of the hardest tracks in Monaco Grand Prix, so I'm probably not going to go with that one. But yeah, I think these are all the same tracks actually. So it'll be interesting to see how this compares to Monaco. Alright, man, there are so many settings in this. I'm just gonna leave everything in default. I don't really care. 3 laps is good. Let's race. Let us race. We'll see if my skills at racing in Monaco Grand Prix translate over to this game. I assume it's not gonna be that much different. So they give you a little bit of a flyover of the track here. Looks nice. Alright, well, no, I didn't want to do that. All I wanted to do was skip the overview. Alright, I don't want to be in the car, thank you. You can change that, which is good. Alright. I like how it shows the name of the car when you're near them. So right off the bat, this does control a little bit differently than Monaco. It feels different, the handling. In what way, I can't really say yet. I like that it also tells you the turns ahead of time, which is something Monaco doesn't do. You're supposed to figure that out yourself. They seem to put a lot more data on the screen than they do in Monaco as well. A lot of stuff up top there. A lot of the menus and I don't know if they're really menus, but overlays are hidden in Monaco. I guess they're going for more of a realistic experience with without the clutter on the screen. Which I guess is a personal preference thing. I mean, it's possible you might be able to turn some of that stuff off if you wanted to in the settings. So I'm not doing very well so far. I'm still trying to get used to these controls. Or I guess the handling more specifically. Graphics in the game are pretty decent. Some decent looking trees. I know trees can always be a hit or miss in games. Some trees in other games can look like sprites, blurry sprites, but they look pretty decent in this game. The overall aesthetic is pretty good. And there are even crowds, which I don't think there are any crowds in Monaco. Maybe on certain tracks, but I don't think there are. Pretty sure the track is mostly barren. Occasionally, if you drive off the track, some guy will pop up with a flag. I think that's about the only person in the game, if I remember correctly. I'd say overall the game controls pretty well. I like the handling. I mean, IGN said it was flawless, so if they say it's flawless, it's flawless. I mean, I don't know if they said that specifically about the handling, but they said the game overall was flawless. Which I guess would include the handling. So if you see me drive off the track, that is entirely my fault. So the game is running really smooth as well. I don't know what the frame rate of this particular game is. I don't know if it's 30 or 60. But regardless, I'm not seeing any hiccups or slowdown. So performance is very good. I'd say performance is definitely better than Spirit of Speed. Use that as a box quote. I'd say really that is probably the main issue with Spirit of Speed. It's not so much the gameplay. I mean, the game is okay if you like that sort of racing, but the game performs very, very poorly. It has slowdown everywhere. And I think that's the game's main flaw. It's not the worst game on the Dreamcast. I'd say, Speedsters is a much worse racing game than Spirit of Speed. And this game is nowhere near either one of those. So I will say it is better than both of those games by quite a margin. And I haven't even played for very long. As I said, it's not really my cup of tea, this sort of racing game, but it's good. I'm not seeing really any flaws, which I shouldn't, because IGN said it's flawless. I'm not gonna call the game flawless, though. I'm gonna give my own opinion on this game at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I mean, it's hard for me to look for flaws in a game genre that I don't really play very often. Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, the full title, online, more specifically, the online version, is my most played F1 game. Aside from that, I've not really played any F1 games for any decent amount of time. There is a commentator in the game, but he's kind of hard to hear. I assume you can probably adjust volume levels, but the music level is much higher than the commentary, which is odd. He's there, but he's very quiet. I guess it's just gonna let everyone finish before it ends. Oh, okay, there we go. So I got 10th place. Could have been worse. I think there were... How many racers were there? 22? I think I was somewhere in the middle. Oh, look at those, look at that champagne effect. You know, now that I think about it, I think this is actually very similar to... There was another F1 game that I did a video on, I think it was last year, or earlier this year, depending on when this video went up, that I played that was very similar to this. I wonder if it's the same developer. Because I'm seeing a lot of similarities. I forget the name of it. But anyway, we're gonna try a different track here. Let's pick a different car as well, just for kicks. Let's go with this one. Pedro Diniz. Not really sure. I'm sorry if there are any Pedro fans watching. I apologize for pronouncing his name wrong. I'm sure one of those pronunciations was correct. All right, let's go to Canada. All default stuff is fine. I mean, if you like options, this game has options. Plenty of customization. I think it did have weather there as well. I kind of just skimmed over the options, so I didn't really see what there was. Kind of interesting, when you press A, it doesn't just immediately skip the cutscene. It goes into the menu and then you hit exit and then it skips it. Not sure why they required or felt the need to add that extra step. But they did. I gotta say, overall, I think I like the presentation in this game better than Monaco Grand Prix. Just the, you know, the turn signals, the driver names, the on-screen HUD. Everything seems a little bit more polished, I think. And you do have that nice effect where you get grass on your tires when you drive through the grass. I assume the same with dirt, things like that. Which I always thought was a nice touch in Monaco Grand Prix. But you got it here as well. So I guess it's not really a unique thing. As I said, I haven't played many of these games. So I don't know what's normal and what's what the developers went an extra mile with. But yeah, now that I am used to the controls in the game, I'd say it controls really well. It has very, very good handling. Having no problem at all. Braking, steering, accelerating, whatever you need to do in a vehicle, you can do it pretty easily in this game. The music in the game is pretty decent. I mean, typical for this sort of game. I'd say that's probably one area where Monaco tops it, though, because it has an amazing soundtrack. The music is alright in this game. It seems a bit more generic. I'm guessing it was probably made specifically for this game, rather than using licensed music, which I believe is what Monaco did, at least for some of the tracks. Man. Driving a bit too much in the grass. Man, I'm getting stuck on this guy's bumper. I couldn't break free there. So overall, graphically, As I said before, very nice looking game. I'd say this tops Monaco in the graphics department as well. Very nice looking game, very good performing game. More going on as well. I like the camera flashes in the crowd and the fact that there is a crowd. As I said, there might be crowds at certain areas in tracks in Monaco, but they didn't stand out as much if there are crowds. You definitely notice them here because they move, and as I said, you get those camera flashes, things like that. All nice little touches. I like how the commentator insults me. Tells me to try driving on the track. Thank you, Mr. Commentator. I'll keep that in mind. It's a great tip. Sometimes I forget I'm not playing an off-road game. This is not 4x4 Evolution. We'll see if I can improve on my placement from the last race. I got 10th place. So if I can just pass this one guy, this is the final lap. There we go. There we go, passing a few. Probably not gonna win, but if I can at least get 7th would be decent. Wow, that was awesome. Just shove that guy out of the way. The physics are pretty good. They're not overly crazy. I know a lot of racing games, you hit another driver and, you know, you easily spin out and lose control of your car. In this, when I rear-ended that guy, he just kind of went flying, and I kept going. Well, I kind of stopped a bit, but I didn't have any problem regaining control of my car, which is nice. But, yeah. That wasn't too bad. I think I got 6th place on that. So I'll take that. I'm improving. But anyway, guys, I am going to end the video here. This has been a first look at F1 World Grand Prix on the Dreamcast. A very decent F1 game. I'm not sure if I would say it's flawless. I guess I'd have to play a lot more of the game to make the declaration that this is a flawless F1 game. But IGN said it was, so take that as you may. But I'd say it is definitely a very good F1 game. If you're into this sort of game, definitely want to check out. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of First Look. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep on dreaming.